Good morning. How are you all today? Here in London, it's a scorcho. My goodness, it's so warm. It's, what time is it? It's 9 o'clock, just about 9 o'clock, and it's already about 20 degrees out there. Where's this come from suddenly? So we had a week of non-stop rain, which is brilliant. You wouldn't think so now though, because we've had about 3 or 4 days of this little mini heat wave. I've actually been out of London for a few days, but apparently it's been sort of 27, 28 degrees. It's too hot for me. I'm actually not normally this early into the garden. I've been here sort of since about 8 o'clock. Yeah, I don't like mornings. However, it is really, really warm at the moment, and I know that I don't function very well over 20 degrees. The day will get hot and hot and hotter. We'll peak at about 4 o'clock. We're due about 27, 28 degrees again. So my plan for today is to do a few jobs this morning, retreat from the heat of that early afternoon, and then come back in the evening to do all my watering and some pottering. There's loads to do in the garden because, like I said, because of those sort of, we had rain delays. It's like the tennis, isn't it? And then this week I've been completely chock-a-block with doing my sort of relative cares and friends and what have you. So the main things to do today, I'm going to get the tomatoes into the ground. I love this part of the year. It's like a real kind of, it's sort of, in a way, it says, right, it's the beginning of summer once the tomatoes go in. So get the tomatoes in. I'm going to look in all the patches where I've done my direct sowing, and see how the germination is, and where there's gaps I'll re-sow. So again, if you got things in early enough, the gaps should be evident now, so whack a few more seeds in. So I think that's going to be principally the chickpeas, parsnips, possibly carrots. And the whole time I'm out there, I know most of you are good and sensible, but just a little reminder about skincare in this blazing sun. So obviously I've got only a little top on this morning because I'm really, really hot, but I'm absolutely slathered from head to toe in sun cream. So even though, because of my ancestry, I have quite an olive skin and I go really brown, I really, really look after my skin. My grandfather, who is quite a keen gardener, he had some skin cancer on the back of his neck, which had to be removed successfully. But please just be sensible and get your cream on. If you're really fair-skinned, maybe be covering up, which I know is hideous when it's hot. Stay out of the sun. I mean, we need a bit of sun for our vitamin D. If you are putting your sunscreen on, don't forget tops of ears. That's where people forget. Noses, bridges of noses. I've already got a tide line from my glasses. Heads, if you're a bald chap, but also if you've got hair, ladies or gents, and you have a very distinct parting, put a bit of sun cream in your parting. Where else do we forget? Obviously the hard to reach places, the backs of necks, get a friend to help. Tops of feet. Quite often what I do is I have cream in the shed, is I'll cream up at home, do bits and bobs around the plot, and then later on I'll take my shoes off completely. So you have to remember, whack a bit on the tops of your feet. Backs of hands. Anyway, that's my lecture over. Just please look after yourselves. So before it gets too hot, I'm going to get out there, crack on with getting the tomatoes planted. Also probably today a bit of strimming and trimming the grass, because having had all that rain and now the sunshine, of course, grass is shot up. Likewise the little annual weeds. I don't know if I'll get round to weeding today, so when I'm filming later on, just ignore and excuse the weeds, they're only little. And just try and get as much done this morning before it gets too hot. Okay, let's get into the garden, into the sunshine. Listen to the birds. Can you hear them? Oh, so lovely. Okay, let's crack on. Wowzers. It's getting hotter by the minute. As well as your sunscreen, don't forget to keep a load of water on site with you. Excuse me. So hot. Also on that note, I'm going to start getting the tomatoes in now. Once they're in, they're going to want a really, really good soak. We've got these dip tanks that we can collect our water from, but it comes straight from the mains underground, so it's really chilly, and I don't want to give the tomatoes that big a shock. So literally a couple of hours ago, when I first got down to the allotment, I filled a couple of cans and I've set them out in a sunny spot just to let that water get to sort of more like an air temperature. So let's crack on. I might actually just move you guys so you can see. Bear with me a second. That's a bit better. I can see all of you guys too now. So, one of the issues I always have with tomatoes, and the first year I grew them 4 years or so ago, I think it was 4 years ago, was their legginess. Talking of legginess, oh, let me just move that leg a sec. So without having a greenhouse at home, I have to grow them on my windowsill. They always end up looking like this, leggy things. So that first year that I brought them down to start hardening off, everyone was pretty much laughing at me. That's never going to work. I wasn't sure myself either, but they were fine. They grew great. So when I repotted these, when I potted them on from their little seedling stage, if you remember, I potted them about an inch deeper than they'd been growing to just help develop a few more roots out of the side of the stem. Tomatoes are great. They're one of the plants you can actually plant deeper and develop more roots. So for all of the tomatoes today, I'm going to dig a hole probably 8 to 10 inches deeper than the current surface of the soil. A, it'll hopefully stop them being so vulnerable to be blowing around so much at this stage, but B, it will help them to develop more roots from this main stem, which is great because more roots equals more ability to take up nutrition, to take up water, but also to give it a more solid foundation. Because if you think what this tomato is hopefully going to turn into, it's going to be a really tall plant with a lot of weight in the top. So yes, I'm going to plant it to about there. Now, also, something I did for the first time last year, and it seemed to work really well, was add a little bit of Epsom salts to the planting hole. It's available all over the place. You can get it from garden centres specifically for the garden. I don't. I use one that's actually, it's sold for sort of indoor use for your bathroom. I have an Epsom salts bath after a tough day at the plot. Gorgeous. So they're sort of, I'll just see if that's picking up, sort of almost like little crystals. So what I'll do is just a little handful of that in the soil in the bottom of the hole, give it a bit of a mix up. It's believed that putting it in the bottom of the hole or using it to create a foliar spray is the best way for the tomato to take the magnesium up. So we're adding Epsom salts to counteract any magnesium deficiency, which can lead to very yellow, pale, sickly plants. Some people use it, chucks them in the watering can to actually water the plants, but it's thought that the plant doesn't really take it up so well that way. So as I said, last year I tried it this way, in the bottom of the hole at the planting stage, and I had some pretty nice plants last year, so I think that worked okay. As the year goes on, obviously I'll talk about how I care for the toms in terms of sprays and trusses and that sort of thing. Just to say today, in terms of spacing, I'm pretty mean. They're going to be about 12 to 18 inches apart. The That's because they're a cordon tomato. So with a cordon tomato, you're going up, 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 up. If you've got a bush variety, you need to give them considerably more space, maybe a couple of feet apart, because they're going to be bushes, they're going to be wide. So let's crack on before this heat completely does for me. So a little bit of Epsom salt in the bottom of the hole, giving it a scrudge around. This little stick that it was tied to indoors, I shall leave in for now. But obviously later on they're going to get much more by way of support, sticks, stakes, what have you. In fact, if I get round to it, I'm hoping this year to build some sort of almost sort of like a cage around the whole lot of them. I'm hoping that there'll be some wood left over from the deck and fence build, and if there is, that's what I've earmarked it for. Oh, it's got to be just about one of my absolute most favourite plants to grow. Oh, love it, love it, love it. And even just that little moment of brushing it then, that scent, that tomato scent's just brushed off. It's gorgeous. So I'm going to plant 14 Gardener's Delight, well actually 13, but I'll stick an extra Chadwick on the end of the row. So 14 Gardener's Delight, 14 Chadwick Cherry, 28 plants in total, and I'm hoping that will give me 12 months worth of tomatoes, both fresh in the summer and then bottled over the winter. Last year I had 24 plants, and I think I'm going to run out at the beginning of July of stored tomatoes. These won't start coming till the end of July, so we're looking at like that month's gap, hence the extra 4 plants this year. And I cannot wait to taste my first fresh tomato since last September. Come on, tomatoes! Okay, you guys, I'm going to get on with the other 27, and we'll go and see what else needs doing in the garden after I've done this lot. Well guys, this is one of those times when I have to be sensible. Even though it's boring, you can probably see I've now got my sunglasses on, which isn't great for communication, there's my eyes. Look, it's not even 11:30 yet, and it's getting blistering warm. It's gone up about 6 degrees in the last 2 hours. It's not that hot, you know, I'm sure there's loads of you around the world who are going to say, you know, 26 degrees, that's absolutely nothing. Well, no, it's not hugely hot, but it's come really suddenly for us, so we haven't acclimatised yet. And actually in the UK, 26 is pretty warm. So I'm going to be sensible. I've only begun to do jobs this morning, but I'm going to pack up. I'm going to go home. I'm going to spend some time in the kitchen and do, well, with the windows wide open, and get a bit of cooking done, and then I shall just come back to the garden, probably 6, 7 tonight, to do watering and a few more of the jobs. So just sort of quickly, I'm going to turn you guys around. I'm just going to quickly show you what I did manage to get done today. Gosh, I can't see a thing on the screen, can you see? So I've got a couple of rows of me tomatoes in. There's going to be another couple of rows here, but as I say, I'm packing up, I'm too hot. The sun the other day, so obviously you guys saw me getting the flint corn in, that's all in now. Celery looking happy, that's the celery went in the other day. Lots and lots of beans coming up. But what I wanted to show you now is, let's go on over. So this is definitely one of the jobs to do today. Actually, I'm going to come right down to the other end. Oops, excuse me, bears, a sec. To give me a hope and heck of being able to show you. So you can see where the chickpeas are coming up. Such gorgeous little plants, I love them. Now that they're starting to come up, I can see where there are gaps in germination. So I'm going to re-sew in those gaps. Likewise, can I hop? Oh, hop, hop, hop. Likewise, where the parsnips are, I can see a few gaps, so yeah, a little bit more sewing there. That's why it's so worthwhile getting your sewings done ASAP, so you've got half a chance of having a bit more time to plug the gaps. Can you see? I don't know if it sort of picks up, but can you see how hot things are? Just going to swing you guys back round to me. Oh, I've dropped my sunnies. So yeah, not nearly as much done to say as I wanted, but honestly, when heat comes suddenly like this, you've got to be sensible, you've got to acclimatise. You know, if I tried to stay out here all day, I'd end up with a headache and then I'd be in bed for 2 days with a migraine. It's not worth it. So I'm going to make like those clever Mediterraneans. I'm going to go home, have a spot of lunch, a nice long siesta, dream about all the weeding I need to do, come back this evening to water and enjoy a little bit of cool time. So for now, on this gorgeous blistering hot day, I say cheerio, and I'll see you all again soon. Take care.